Well, hello everyone, this is CJ with Cycletron. If you're like me, you're kind of tired of being taxed to death. If you add up all your tax burden, federal and state income tax, property tax, sales tax, Social Security, it just goes on and on and on. And if you like to buy motorcycles, performance cars, RVs and the like, that's going to get taxed too. Now there's been a huge influx of people in the last couple of years moving to the area I've been living in for many years, and that's the greater Kansas City area. I actually live on the Kansas side. It's a nice area, although I've lived in other parts of the country. I'm from this area originally, and one of the things that brought me back here were the good schools, good transportation. You could get around just about anywhere in opposite sides of town within 45 minutes. A lot of these things aren't really true anymore. The roads are becoming more and more congested. It's not the case where you have all the open road ahead of you like we used to do here, but still nice overall. But the taxes are just way too much. I'm in an area that has a 10% sales tax, and then the property tax is outrageous. You know, if you buy a new vehicle, let's say you buy a $40,000 new vehicle, you're probably going to pay like $700 in the first few years in property tax, in addition to a couple $100 for the tag. It's excessive. So what some people do, and this is interesting to me, so take this for what it's worth and do your own research, but people will set up a holding company, a Montana LLC. That's a holding company for their vehicles. Motorcycles, high-end cars, RVs. I mean, if I bought let's say I was going to retire and just go around the country in a giant RV, you know, a lot of those things are upwards of $350,000. I would get hit with a $35,000 sales tax, and then the property tax would be several $1,000s a year. Forget that. So there's companies in Montana, law firms, that will form your LLC, and they'll also handle the vehicle registration, which is just peanuts. I mean, for a few $100 a year, you're gonna pay zero sales tax in Montana, and no property tax to speak of for your vehicles. And for people looking for even more tax savings, they will domicile or have their official residence in a state that has no income tax, say like Texas. And save even more. So I never really understood why a lot of rich people had houses in multiple states. Now I'm starting to get it. There's some huge tax advantages. Now this isn't something I've done. I'm looking ahead to the future because I've been thinking about going down to Texas anyway for a lot of reasons once my kids get out of school. Not in the areas that have been blown up for years like Houston and Dallas and, God forbid, Austin. I lived in Austin in the early 90s. It's unrecognizable today. So that got crossed off the list. I loved it there in the early 90s. You couldn't pay me to live in Austin these days. But getting back to the tax thing, yeah, you know, I'm kind of sick of getting creamed on all this property tax and the sales tax. One of my kids said I should just get a dealer license just so I can flip vehicles without having to pay the sales tax on them, which wasn't a bad idea. Now the tricky thing is with these LLC holding companies in Montana is a lot of states, including mine here in Kansas, will go after you if you have a vehicle registered in one place and you're actually living here. So you got to take that under consideration. That's where having your domicile in the state, say like Texas, and then let's just say I'm visiting in Kansas periodically, that's the way to go if you can swing it. So let me know what you think in the comment section. If any of you kind of made these kind of arrangements, I'm laying the groundwork because, you know, let's say if you have a company that's based on the internet, you know, social media, that sort of thing, you've got the flexibility to really set your company up just about anywhere. And, you know, if these taxing authorities just wouldn't be so greedy, people wouldn't resort to these measures by and large. But you take my property tax on my house, it's basically the equivalent of 1% of the assessed value a year. It's outrageous. You know, thousands and thousands of dollars every year. So yeah, I'm thinking tax management's the way to go here as I get older and could even think about retiring at some point. So let me know what you think in the comments section. That's some business ideas for today, so please stay tuned for future videos.